Antonio Cinelli, do you want to explain to me why 3 out of your final 4 are already knocked out of the tournament?
One of them just got outplayed, and 2 of them lost on buzzer beaters.
So,
That's the only bit I
are
can
they
say.
on Fraud Watch or are you on Fraud Watch?
It's an NCAA tournament. I am none of us are on Fraud Watch.
That's
Anything
fair.
can happen.
It's March Madness for a reason. Let's get to the podcast.
You want to talk about sports?
Yes, I want to talk about sports.
You want to get a real job? You want to talk about sports?
Sports.
Sports?
Sports.
Sports?
Sports.
All right, sports it is.
Welcome to Tony's Upset, a sports podcast fueled by autism and brotherhood. I'm your host, Tony Cinelli, along with my co-host, Gianni Cinelli. How are you, Gianni?
Tony, I'm doing well, but I wanted to say something before we began today. Something that's been close to my heart that I haven't really let you know about yet. So one of the podcasts that shouted us out, The View from the Lane, one of the gentlemen who leads that podcast is Danny Kelly.
Okay.
He has been one of the best sports commentators in years. I mean, he's been doing it for probably decades at this point. Older fella. He's been diagnosed with cancer of the esophagus. So we just wanted to let our community of listeners know to be in prayer for Danny Kelly.
Yeah.
Great Spurs
Absolutely.
legend. Didn't play for the club, but he's been talking about Tottenham for years. And even rival fans are really just recognizing the fact that, I mean, he is the standard of greatness for English broadcasting. You know, you think about I don't know.
There was somebody who died due to cancer. His name was Stuart Stark.
Yes, that's who I'm thinking about. Stuart
yes.
Scott. Oh, man, he was awesome. Okay. Stuart Scott, great example for Tony. Yeah, so just wanted to say thank you to Danny Kelly. I emailed their podcast to tell them just the fact that when people say, Gianni, you're really good at leading Tony, it's because I've watched Danny Kelly do it for years, I've been watching Wendy do it for years on the Extra Inch. I've been watching other people do it, which has allowed me to do this with you. And I'm just really thankful for the consistent voices and the people who have kind of led the way for us to even have what we have. Mm-hmm. So, we just wanted to shout out Danny Kelly and thank him for all that he's done and tell him that, like I said earlier, he's in our thoughts and prayers. Absolutely. Now, Tony, I know that was a little heavy, but let's talk about something fun. Let's talk about March Madness. Now, before we begin, Tony had 4 teams that he predicted were going to be in the Final Four. Purdue, Virginia, Kansas, and Florida. And I think you said the national championship was going to be between Purdue and Florida?
Yep.
And you thought Purdue was going to win?
Yeah.
Okay, now I think Purdue's now the only team left in the bracket.
Yep.
Do you want to talk about some of those games? I mean, these are some pretty big updates. Or do you want to start maybe with a round 1 update?
Let's do some updates.
Well, Tony, I think the first thing I want to do as far as this conversation goes is just call out some of the big obvious ones, right? So I think the most important game of the entire tournament was Arizona versus Long Island.
He was an upset. High Point over Wisconsin.
Oh, that is a big upset.
That was the big upset.
That was a big upset. But Tony, I really want to talk about the more important game, which is Arizona versus Long Island. Now, do you know why Arizona versus Long Island is the most important game of the tournament?
Yes, wasn't one of Long Island's basketball players. He wasn't a star. Was he like a manager or he was a walk-on?
I have no idea. I'm talking about the fact that it's the Iced Tea Bowl. It's the Arizona Green Teas against the Long Island Iced Teas, fighting for supremacy of what is the more important tea. Now, Liquid Death and Lipton didn't have a team in this tournament, but Arizona did. And Arizona beat Long Island by a hefty margin.
Okay.
So shout out to the $1 green teas, because those things make the world go round.
Okay,
but more importantly...
let me get to my more important facts than the teas.
Okay. So, are we going to talk about which game you want to talk about?
No, this was the one of the Long Island basketball players. I don't know if he was like a manager or a walk-on who really didn't play that much. Scored his 4th points in his career in an NCAA tournament game. So he was so happy. Even the other coach was so happy for him.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I think it would be a dream for me. Is like you're like the manager. They're like, we don't have enough players. And you're like, coach, put me in. I mean, how many times have you shown up as a kid, maybe, to like a baseball game with like a mitt in your hand, and you're like, well, I mean, if they need an extra player, I'm ready to go. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's a dream. But Tony, you were saying High Point beat Wisconsin. That's a big deal. It's a 5 versus 12 upset. Yep. Do you have anything you want to say about this game?
The sports announcers was so funny.
I'll put a link in the show notes on that, and then
it was the last second, like a 10 seconds remaining. Somebody, I don't remember the guy's name, but they hit a game-winning jumper. Then they stole the ball. The Wisconsin was trying to throw it, and was half court, but the High Point, one of the defenders, intercepted it. And
yeah. I also want to just shout out the BYU 6th seed lost to Texas.
Texas. Wait, Texas then upsetted 3 seed Gonzaga to move to the 3-16.
But now they have to play Purdue, who you have winning it all. So hopefully they don't win. Purdue also got past Miami, only barely, honestly.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Actually, no, there you go.
The Georgia game was bad. Georgia got demolished.
Yeah.
I mean, Georgia's a football school, if we're being honest. But I just wanted to make sure that Matt Shaw, if he's listening, that he knows that Georgia got destroyed. But also another coworker of mine's, Ohio State fan. Tony, Ohio State got knocked out of the tournament too, didn't they? Pretty early.
On the last second.
Oh, my goodness.
All the way up at top. Johnny's trying to look fine then.
I shouldn't be driving. Okay, 64-66. Now, this is an 8 versus 9, so it's not a huge upset, but I will say, I watched the last seconds of the Ohio State game. They had like 3 seconds left on the clock, and they pulled up from like half court with an extra second still on the clock. It was a terrible shot selection. I mean, it was an absolute mess. But if we also want to talk about other absolute messes, how about Duke versus Siena? Now, Duke won this game, 71-65.
And they were down 11 at halftime.
And Siena's a 16 seed. I mean, they're a very small Catholic school. One of my coworkers went there. She was telling me that only recently they switched to the dog mascot. It used to be St. Francis of Assisi. Like, it's a pretty small school. The fact that they got that far in the tournament was a big deal. But it was interesting because Duke almost got knocked out of the tournament. But while we're talking about Carolina Blue, you know who did get knocked out of the tournament?
North Carolina.
After
and NC State.
NC State was never in the tournament.
Yes, they were.
NC State made this tournament?
Yes.
No, they didn't.
They were in the first 4.
What is a first 4?
It's like there's 64
like a wild card?
teams. Yeah, 64 teams make it, but like they decided to do like the first 4. Like,
okay. So I guess that makes sense. So State got knocked out pretty early, which is kind of underwhelming. And then my team, UNCW, didn't make it at all.
Yeah, they lost to a 9 seed in the conference tournament.
Which was who?
Campbell,
you're right. Yep, Campbell. So they were talking about that at work. Okay, so Carolina, though, they were up 18 at one point, and they lost. And there's a very famous tweet going around right now about the fact that when they were up 18, they tweeted something about like being up 18, and then they ended up losing to VCU. And I don't even know what college VCU is.
Virginia Commonwealth University.
Doesn't even sound real.
It is real. Well, there's a very funny story also about this. So Purdue, Johnny, go to Purdue.
Okay. Purdue.
Wait, I'll tell you. Up.
Okay.
Wait, yeah. So here's the funny story. So I was telling my dad, Dad saw I had Purdue winning, and he said, Purdue beat Queens University. He's like, Queens in New York. And I said, no, there's a Queens. Queens is in North Carolina.
That's not North Carolina, Queens?
Wait, yes. So my dad thought
Go ahead.
My dad thought that I was being sarcastic as always. So I told him, no, there's actually a Queens University in Charlotte, North Carolina. And here's the funny thing. Queens is actually merging with another college in North Carolina called Elon University.
Which Queens? The one in New York or the one in North Carolina?
The one in North Carolina.
Queens? Is this the Queens from New York or is this the Queens from...
North Carolina.
This is the Queens from North Carolina.
Yes.
I'm gonna Google
Just
this.
type in Queens, North Carolina.
Location?
It's in Charlotte.
You're right. Wow. So a random team from Charlotte was in the tournament?
Yep.
I didn't even know. That's crazy. And they're merging with Elon?
Yep. Look it
I
up.
know Elon. That's crazy. Okay. Well, I think that's enough tournament talk, but before we transition from it, Tony, you want to give me a new Final Four of who you think's going to make it?
Yeah.
I'm going to make you keep Purdue.
You're going to make me keep Purdue. Okay. So let's go up to the first, let's go up to the East bracket. Duke versus St. John's. I was worried about Duke. That's why I didn't have them coming out of this bracket. And we just talked about this Siena game. Against TCU, they look like they were getting back really healthy.
Okay.
St. John's is on a roll right now.
So St. John's doing well. Okay. Who do you got in this game?
I'm going to go with my gut and say I think Duke is playing healthier. I'm going to pick Duke.
Okay.
Go down a little bit. Connecticut, Michigan State. Connecticut's just a very good team. They won 2 of the last 3 NCAA tournament. They got some veteran players. I'm picking Connecticut.
Okay.
Duke versus Connecticut. Yeah, Connecticut, again, a very tough team. They've been a little bit inconsistent. Maybe they're getting back together with some of how they were playing. This is probably the hardest one out of it. Gonna go with my gut and say Duke wins.
Okay. Now let's go to the other side. To the west. Arizona versus Arkansas.
Arizona.
Okay. Then we've got Texas versus Purdue.
Purdue.
And then you got Purdue versus Arizona.
It could be a hard one, just I think Arizona is a sneaky good team, too.
Okay. But I think from an artistic integrity perspective, you have to...
Yes, and Purdue is playing really well. That's why I think Purdue can do something.
Also, the name, the Boilermakers? What a good name.
Yes.
All right, so Purdue then is going to face what? Who? UConn in the final? Or is there's 4 more? There's more.
Yes,
I'm an
there's
idiot.
more.
Okay,
That's me.
keep going. Iowa versus Nebraska?
These are 2 teams that haven't... Nebraska, before they made the NCAA tournament, they had never won an NCAA tournament game.
Okay.
They're like, and now they've made it to the first Sweet 16. This one's a tough one. You don't really see both of these teams do well. One of them is going to lose in the Elite 8. I'm going to go with my gut and pick Iowa.
Okay, Iowa's going to play either Illinois or Houston.
Houston's really good.
And then Houston's going to beat Iowa, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then you've got Michigan versus Alabama.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Michigan.
Okay. Tennessee versus Iowa State. That's the Cyclones, right?
Yes.
That's the Volunteers. Okay.
Give me Tennessee.
Okay.
Yeah, that's going to be my pick upset.
Tennessee versus Michigan.
Michigan.
Okay. And then, what would that be? Like Michigan versus Houston?
No. Michigan versus Purdue.
Okay. Michigan versus Purdue. Who do you have? I guess it has to be Purdue, right?
Yeah, it's going to have to be Purdue.
Okay. And then you've got Houston
versus Duke.
Versus Duke. Who do you have there?
So this is actually a rematch of last year's Final Four matchup, which Houston won.
Okay.
Let's go with Duke.
Okay. So then you've got what? Duke versus Purdue in the final?
Purdue, yeah.
You don't have to pick Purdue to win it. I mean, I guess you already did, kind of. But you're allowed to change your mind if you really want. Duke or Purdue? I'm going Purdue.
Yeah, I might have to go with Purdue too.
Okay, you up?
But I mean, Purdue has a lot of veteran players.
Tony's upset is putting our eggs in the Purdue basket. All right, Tony, that is awesome. Let's talk a little bit about the UFC Seattle fight. It's a UFC Fight Night this Saturday coming up, March 28th on Paramount Plus. Tony, you want to do the main card real quick?
Yeah.
Okay, give it to me rapid fire. Terrence McKinney versus Kyle Nelson.
Terrence McKinney. This is just our cousin lost to this guy last time.
Oh,
and we had
I
to make
remember.
revenge. Terrence McKinney.
Terrence McKinney. Okay. What's this guy?
Malik Abdul Mansour.
Okay.
Abdul Malik versus Yuri Basson.
Okay.
What? I'm going to take Yosef Basson.
Yorsi. Tony, how are you getting that from that? Yorsi Bulgaru?
I can't.
You want to take
don't
Yorsi
know.
Bulgaru?
I don't know the guy's name.
That's a first for the podcast.
Yeah,
You're going to take Yorsi Bulgaru?
Yes.
Okay.
Upset.
Julian Irosa,
Rosa?
Larian Douglas.
Yeah, well, I'm picking Julian Douglas.
I guarantee you this man's Brazilian.
He is Brazilian.
Yeah. I watch enough soccer to tell a Brazilian when I see a Brazilian.
Michael Chiesa, no, this guy pulled out, but they have a replacement.
Okay.
Michael Chiesa versus Nico Price. Michael Chiesa in his retirement fight.
Okay, that's kind of cool. Then you got Alexa
Grasso versus Macy Barber. I'm not a huge fan of Macy Barber.
Okay.
I'm picking Alexa Grasso.
Last one, main event, middleweight fight between Joe Pyfer?
Yes, Joe Pyfer.
Joe Pyfer versus...
Israel Adesanya.
Now, there have been times where I thought Israel was like the best fighter in all of UFC. Is he still there or is he not quite?
No, he's not there. I wouldn't be surprised if he won this matchup. At all.
Last year, I was like, who did he lose to last? Nazmanine Imanov? Yeah.
That's the demon.
I mean, that's about as hard as they come, those fights. And then he also lost to...
Dracus Duplessis, who was the champion at the time.
What's he fighting, once a year, this guy?
Yeah.
He lost to Sean Strickland?
You don't know, but that's
Tony, I don't know
the biggest
anything.
upsets of all time.
Yeah,
Actually, the top 3 biggest upsets.
Tony, in 2023, I didn't even know what UFC was. And then he beat Alex Pereira. Okay. So, who you got on this fight?
I'm picking Pyfer. I'm not fully confident in it.
Let me look at his history, because I actually don't know this guy. I've never heard of him. That's not a big deal, though. If you're new to the podcast, I'm an idiot. Yeah, I don't see any... These aren't really big fights, are they? Is he an up-and-comer?
Calvin Gastelum. So, Joe Pyfer, this guy, had a main event in 2024.
Okay.
And he fought a very aging guy named Jack Hermanson. Now, Jack Hermanson was a top 10 fighter in the middleweight division.
Okay.
But he didn't really fight that much. He was kind of like, everybody thought Pyfer was going to and Pyfer was supposed to be this big star, the next big thing. And he lost a 5-round decision to Jack Hermanson.
Okay.
2 years ago. And everybody kind of gave up on him. Now, Pyfer was saying that he got sick. Now he's on a 3-fight winning streak. Actually, no, 4. 3 or 4.
I mean, I see 2 in 2025.
No, 1 in 2020. Yeah, 4.
Okay, one in 2024.
Now, what I was saying.
He's on a 3-fight winning streak. Okay.
But what I was saying, now he's back in the UFC good places. Is when you're supposed to beat a guy and you don't. Even an aging guy, there's a saying like the UFC loses interest in you. Now he gets another big matchup against a former champion. This is a number 4 win guy versus a 14th win guy.
Who's number 4? Israel?
Yeah.
Tony, I've got a bad feeling about this. I think Israel's going to destroy him.
I mean, I'm kind of going back and forth. I wouldn't be surprised if Israel beats him.
If the Israel of old shows up, this man's done.
Yeah.
If Israel has fallen off...
You know what? You changed my mind of picking Israel Adesanya. Because
the thing is, if Israel's not who he used to be, it's going to be a good fight. If Israel's who he used to be, it's going to be a good fight, but it's going to be a quick fight. You know what I mean?
Or he could just dominate. He show his striking. He's been one of the best strikers.
Tony, I'm going to ask you a question, but we're not going to talk about it in detail today. Do you feel like the UFC has been giving us worse and worse cards?
Yeah.
Do you think the quality's fallen off a little bit because Dana White's distracted? We'll talk about this on another podcast in detail, I think.
Well, everybody's, so just a quick little thing. UFC 327 is April 11th, but UFC 328 is May 9th, but...
Is that the White House fight or no?
No, that's not the White House fight, but, Hamza Chimaev was supposed to be fighting, it's funny, Nasruddin Imavov, who was on a 5-fight winning streak.
Well, those are two of the best to do it.
Yes, and everybody was thinking, but they're not exciting fighters, though.
Yeah?
Sean Strickland, he's an exciting fighter, but he's a win one, loss one. He just won his matchup. So, when Dana White announced the matchup for UFC 328, it was Hamza Chimaev versus Sean Strickland. And everybody was so happy that was the fight to make. Now, Strickland is on a 1-fight winning streak, and he's number 3, and Imavov is the number 1 contender, but is also on a 5-fight winning streak.
Okay.
But nobody cared. Everybody was like, this is the matchup. They finally got past. And some people are like, oh, poor Imavov. He's the number 1 contender, but he's not exciting.
I think he'll get a chance to fight eventually.
Yes, he will, but...
Yeah. Okay, well, I hear you. Tony, I think that's all we got time for today. Thank you for listening to Tony's Upset, a sports podcast fueled by autism and brotherhood. Goodbye, y'all.